What's up, everybody? Alright, welcome to our live stream here from Budapest, Hungary. Substantive analysis stream with your favorite chess streamer. Hello. Welcome to Movie Phone. But it's just a little hot here. Afternoons, late afternoons get pretty hot. In the summer. It's almost summer. Welcome everybody to the stream. We're doing analysis, game analysis. I've got some questions. Chess for a Feel. Is that a subscriber? Here's our list. Mirales, Lord Teddy, Chess for Feel, question. I don't know if that's a subscriber or just a random person who sent me a game to analyze. Save a Dog, Acerbate, Uber Driver, Resident Spectator, Resident Patient. What's up, guys? I got my COVID booster shot today. Have you had your COVID booster shot? No anti-vaxxing in my stream. Alright, I got my second COVID booster shot today. The last one was in November. Thanks, Mr. Coffee. Chess for Feel 2 is a sub. It's funny, my arm actually, it's a half shot, right? It doesn't really hurt. It hurt very, very slightly, and then it's almost gone. I think the others were full shots. My first half shot. But Moderna's been really side effect free for me. Alright, we've got game analysis stream. Oh, I want to say a funny thing. I mean, just weird, kind of odd, funny thing. What some guy on lichess did. This is so gross. Somebody on lichess, some random guy from Egypt, I saw a notification that said, someone has reviewed, your coaching profile. They reviewed my coaching profile by putting a link to their team in it. That takes the cake for, the most, trolly, disgusting thing you can do. And just stupid, I have to, little do they know, I have to approve the reviews for them to be posted. Can you imagine? What a loser. You're putting your team... Alright. Isn't that just gross? Put your team link in a coaching review for somebody on lichess. Dude, insta-block. That's just so grotesque. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's probably a 13-year-old kid, but still. Alright. So, what's up? I am going for a holiday next week, but don't worry yet. I'm going to be gone next week from Tuesday to Saturday. It won't affect our Simul Sunday. I need a little vacation. Did they at least give you 5 stars? They didn't give me any review. They just put their team link in my review. What's up? Excel Poker. I've shown a couple people that Birds game we played. That's a pretty crazy variation that we had in that Fromm's Gambit. Excel Poker just subscribed. 17 months. I'll put the money toward my new set of glasses that I'm going to have to get soon. Are you taking Greyhound? No Greyhound in Hungary. I miss the old days of buses. Mr. Coffee likes buses. I don't take the bus. No, I don't like the bus, really. But there was something like dirty and sleazy and sort of fun about going by bus. Like, you never knew what kind of strange character you would meet. You're like always guaranteed to have some weird experience if you go on a bus on a long trip, which kind of makes it interesting. As Mr. Coffee said, like, something about, like, he didn't feel comfortable with it, but I'm just going local, not too far away. Alright, we've got the first game. Mirales sent me a game against MSBBSM. I'm not even going to guess what that stands for. E4, C5. This is the classic Morales. Think like Morales. Try hopping trains. You guys talk to each other on the bus? I always met weird people when I went by bus. Knight C3. I mean, generally, like, strangers don't talk to each other that much, but I mean, it happens. And then there's people who, like, won't shut up. Sometimes you get those kind of people. Anyway, alright, so Knight C3, D6. D6 is a Najdorf player or dragon player hoping that you'll, like, transpose to the open Sicilian or something. You know, I guess there are certain reasons why people play this move order. Why does Boris Gelfand played D6? Anand has notably played D6. I've got Asturbate's games in the database. Oh my god. Yeah. So White's number 1 move is F4. White's number 2 move is knight on GE2. See, this is where it comes into play about like playing the Najdorf or not. But Morales doesn't do that. He plays F4. And now Black plays knight F6. So straight up Grand Prix attack. G6 is the Gelfand Anand move order, I think. The cognoscentes here play G6 normally, because you don't necessarily want to put your knight on F6. There's still a chance you can play an E6, sort of E6, G6, you know, knight E7, knight C6 type of setup. But there's only one other serious option, right? That's actually knight C6, but you're still going to have to play G6. And this allows bishop E5, you know, which is like additional thing. So Black should definitely play G6. Alright, he plays knight F6, you play knight F3, and now Black pretty much has to play G6. Or knight C6 followed by G6. But he plays this, which is a super weird move. I'm actually surprised to see there's a game there. Daniel King versus Horvath Tomasz. That is very surprising. Horvath Tomasz was the co-author with Dorian in his Sveshnikov, kind of groundbreaking Sveshnikov book years ago. He's a big expert on the Sveshnikov, so this move order, you know, kind of weird for a guy who's an expert on the Sveshnikov as well. But I've really never heard of a good player playing this before. Is there some kind of justification for bishop G4? I mean, I guess Black can try. It seems a little odd logical. Well, the only thing that makes sense would be like G6. I mean, no G6, but E6 and like D5 or something. But you're gonna get H3, bishop H5. So because the pawn's on F4, if the pawn were on F4, you could do the bishop H5. Blah blah blah. We can't do that. That's not an option here. So if Black tries to follow up by putting the pawns on the same color as his bishop, like it was wave defense or whatever, Black has to take on F3 when White plays H3. But I would imagine like White has options. There'd be nothing wrong with bishop e2 here, for example. But the big question, you know, it's not obvious what white should play. Do you play h3? Do you play bishop e2? Do you play bishop c4? Do you play bishop b5 check? Or do you play some other move like d3? I think that's the problem. It's tempting to play h3, which is what Daniel King did, but it's kind of a tempo, you know. I mean, Horvath Tomic is not a bad player. He's a good IM, or was a good IM. He's older now, but he managed to draw against the GM. But this just doesn't seem right. Bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. What the bleep is this? Wow, this is super weird. So we definitely expected to see knight c6. And Tommy played knight d7. So that looks like some kind of weird home preparation. It's like circumventing e5 or something. Pretty cool idea. He caught Daniel King off guard. Because obviously if you play knight c6, this is what we expected. White has bishop b5. Okay, that's the point, right? Dorfman Dvoretsky. Wow. Another good player with black. Transposition. It's like a Rossalimo now. Knight d7. But I mean, here we at least double the pawns. So white is better. Black doesn't have a bad bishop, but white is better. Yeah. Like HTFP is saying, bishop b5, castle short looks good. Okay. So this is like, we don't get the double pawns, though. It's an interesting idea, anyway. So what is white to do? It's an interesting idea. You could play like extreme chess moves. e5. But I don't know. We're getting kind of like off the beaten track here. I think e5 deserves a look. Knight c6. Interesting. I mean, if you want to get play on the white squares, maybe we discovered something. The engine's coming around to my way of thinking. Alright. Man, the computer likes e5, man. On depth 17, it's up over a pawn now. Slaggy instinct. Nope, dropping back down again. But the point is the white squares. Excel Poker said bishop g4 equals you give up bishop pair. Giving up bishop pair is one way to look at it. The other way is like black has problems with the white squares. We look at the complex, right? The general concept of bishop pair, okay. But the concrete thing is the white squares. Here we've got white squares. If takes, black just loses. So, yeah, this is a common idea in the English. Black gotta go here. Now we're taking knight d4, and this is where I think the engine had trouble. It's something to do with the rook in the corner. That's why the engine's evaluation like flip-flopped. It probably had trouble with that long line with something where the rook is in the corner of the knight is tricky. Yeah. Yeah, I know you play this line with white, Dr. Tripchance. I just thought it was pretty interesting. It looks like both sides would really have to know what they're doing. But Daniel King just didn't have the wherewithal to play e5. He did something else. Anyways, alright. But I mean, like, I'm trying to justify bishop g4. You know, that's what I'm trying to do here. And also figure out, like, what the best move is. Morales went with bishop c4. Obviously, bishop b5 check is an option. It's got to be knight f d7 or knight b d7. What are we doing here? I mean, I can't bring this bishop back. Right. You said I have faced bishop g4 to bishop b5 check. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would think, too. Bishop b5 check's very logical. It's like a Nimzo. It's like a Leningrad Nimzo. Or birds opening. I just had a whole bunch of birds openings, which are very similar. If you double the pawns, that's fine, you know? And if this, what happens? Like e5, this is going to be pretty awkward, right? For black, that's a problem. No? So, get your beer, folks. Get your beer here. Yeah, I don't know. I like bishop b5 check better. Morales' move is okay. It's okay. Are we going to have a problem with this at some point, though? Houston? Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like knight d4. Though white can't play that too early. I mean, black can't play that too early. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like white played that efficiently here. He just kind of did lazy move. Take. And if knight d4, we go back to d1. So, there is a game where this happened. And Darius against Darius. Darius won. I don't like it as much. I think he should have played bishop b5 check. This isn't as good. There is queen d3. Morales is pretty tough. He knows his stuff. But queen d3 allows a6, threatening to trap the bishop. Then we have to play that, and our queen is just like in a really funky position. I mean, d5 is going to kill us in some line eventually. We don't really want to do that. But Morales' opponent played bishop e7. That's kind of weak. Now, Asterbait has had games like this. I agree, h3 seemed a little bit early. It didn't seem efficient. I think that's the word I used. d3. See, here you have another option now. It happens in the Vienna game, too. When the knight comes into d4, if we've got d3 in, like Savadog is talking about, exactly, there's second rank protection for the queen. Yeah, it feels like Morales played this like too routinely. I'm beginning to wonder if black could play h5 or should play h5. You know, I've done this kind of thing in the hedgehog. You know, maybe... Is it worth it to go for h5 and just not castle? Maybe for black here? Rather than like castling into a pawn storm. I think either you meet white in the center or you try to play... Maybe you can try to play castles. I'm sorry, h5. Castles. Your other castles. Black just routinely castled. White plays g4. It's a bubble. Hard to organize a concrete attack. a6, a4, another routine move. And then black played the horrifying g6. Maybe it's not so bad. It looks like he's weakening his king side. You don't want to play g6 unless you have to. So obviously, like, we would prefer to play knight d7. Problem is this. Black's holding off on knight d4. But I guess he can play it whenever. Knight d7 seems better than g6 to me. f5. Plus we're going to get run over by g5 anyway. Good God. Yeah, this is Grand Prix, Asterby. You should be paying attention. Knight d4. g6 is really bad. Knight d7 seems okay. Computer likes this, actually. What's up with knight d7? Is there something wrong with this? Engine just does g5 anyway. Then g6. I mean, he could transpose. Lima dodo. Lima dado. Limonado. Limonado. g6. f5. This doesn't look right, but he's getting that bishop on c4, I guess. Black has weakened his king side by playing g6. Even if he gets the white square bishop, the problem is this is a good bishop, and black's king side is weakened, and white has good control of the center. And his pawns are, his pawns are coordinated with the dark squared bishop. Black's bishop is kind of blocked in. Mr. Coffee, did anyone catch that Mork Spock thing? What are you talking about? Alright, anyway. Now black played the worst move ever in the history of chess. But I understand that, but black is now worse and has a serious disadvantage. It's very hard to find a good plan for black here. So, obviously, knight e5 is a mistake. Knight d4, queen g2, and then something in the center, maybe. I know the Uber driver would suggest e takes f5, but this is surprisingly a good move. Wow. If g takes f5, king h8, and you're in trouble on the g file. E takes f5, d5. This position is surprisingly imbalanced. You would think like black would be clearly worse. The center is important. It's just really bad move, knight e5, and takes here. And then that, and that's game over. Like, g5, maybe not, because of knight h5. Oh no, he just wins a piece. No, this just wins a piece. Okay. And it's horrible. Just lose a piece. Black is just lost. Yeah, routine play by Morales. I like this early on, but then black just collapsed like a bunny. Went into bunny mode. Nothing to see here. Just step side. Stand on the other side of the sidewalk, please. Nothing to see here, folks. Very interesting move. Bishop takes g5. Wow. How does that work exactly? We just take on g5. I was just saying to someone that knight on d5 is better than actually twice in the last 2 days. Knight on d5 is better than the bishop on g7 in a Sicilian man. Oh, king takes drops the rook here. Although black would have a series of checks with maybe like queen g4. That's worse than that. Yeah, he's actually getting mated or losing his queen. Yeah, this is super bad. Probably rook e7 check would be the easiest way. With least chance of like messing it up. Yeah, that's nice. Petite tactic. I guess this is the beauty of it, right? Morales sort of has rook takes h7 check, but that could get messy. Here, black sacks the queen, and probably it's winning, but not sure 100% how easy it is. So instead, just knight f6. Nice. I feel like he put this game in just because the end was kind of like brutal. Alright, that was just a blitz game. Okay, so the following game is Lord Teddy, that I promised we would analyze. Lord Teddy must be black here. Lord Teddy is a subscriber. We have a couple new subscribers, Lord Teddy and Chess for Feel too, who submitted games. Sire. Actually, here's the games I have. Morales, we just did. More questions than answers for that game. Lord Teddy. Asterbate needs to work on his Grand Prix attack too. But you know what I take away from that game is that this bishop g4 isn't great for black, but there's a little more to it than you would think. As Savadog said, it feels like Morales played a little too routinely with the h3. There's also not, we're not really sure if the bishop should go to c4 or not. Seems easier to play bishop b5. Alright. Lord Teddy, I guess, is black. Black wins the game. Let me check if I can find that. When Lord Teddy submitted this. Where is Bob? This is like from last week. Is he Benutzer? Yeah, Benutzer's name. This is Benutzer's name. I was black, my elo 1800-ish. My opponent 2200-ish. It's a 90 plus 30, so it looks like... He's Lord Teddy in Twitch. It looks like, OTB game. 90 plus 30 seconds per move. But Lord Teddy is black. Against Jim's favorite b3. You summon the... What are those, Jawas? They look like sand people or whatever. Those are Jawas. Why do you have like Jawa emojis? HDFP. Jawas. Why do I always get Jawas and sand people confused? They're completely different. They live in the same environment. They live in the same biome, but they're completely different. I'm having action figures. I sold all my Star Wars action figures on eBay. Action figure regret. Alright. b3, knight f6, bishop b2. Now, this is creative. Black's next move, d6. Creative. Bob sent me a creepy message about an hour ago. So, he never does that. That was weird. Why d6 instead of g6? Maybe black has no intention to play g6. I mean, the point would be to come here, like an old Indian. Then you can play g6 or not play g6 as you like, but critical question, of course, is bishop takes f6. Most players took with the e-pawn. It's a Trompowsky style thing. But in the Trompowsky, white doesn't play b3 and like weaken his queen side. So like basically, to make a long story short, d4, knight f6, bishop g5, d6, bishop takes f6 is a better move. this is a better position for white than the b3 example, because in this case we played d4. We put our pawn chain on dark squares, and we don't have holes on the dark squares. The b3 creates this like little bit of weakness on the white square, or the dark squares on the queen side, so technically it's slightly less good. Nevertheless, I mean, bishop takes s6 it's a playable move. White plays e3, and now black plays g6. You know, now I have to say I don't really understand black's move order. You know, like, you might as well just play g6 on move 2. So the point is, like, this is a respected variation. Just go ahead and play g6. You can play g takes f6 there. But I think that g takes f6, it's more common in structures where you're playing c5 or d5. I think that the g6, g7 takes f6 maybe doesn't make a lot of sense with d6 in particular. Because in this setup, when we do, what we're going to do is we're going to play this, we're going to play d6, we're going to play f5, we're going to play bishop g7, we're going to like maybe wait, but eventually play knight d7, knight f6, castle kingside probably. The entire setup is like with the pawn on d6. If you play like g takes in that type of thing, I'm not really sure like what sort of setup we play. You could play it. I guess I'd want to get in f5. G takes f it's also common in Trompowsky where black's playing with c5. So we have d4, knight f6, bishop g5, c5, bishop takes f6. Usually we recapture with the g pawn here. These type of structures, and then f5. D6 prevents g4. Well, that's good to know. I'm relieved that g6 prevents g4. One of Jababa's favorite moves. So now white decides to take. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like he tricked black or something. This is a completely reliable variation for black. Oh, you mean you think white can play g4? Holy shit. Not in this position. Well, it doesn't now, because white's played e3. g4! Exclam! I'm just kidding. You're not preventing g4, interestingly. But you're not preventing f5, so we're golden. This is just a joke. I'm joking. This is fine for black, though. You know, fine position. I don't understand why white's 3-0 here. Two of them are strong players. I would play f5 sooner rather than later if I'm black here. You can play bishop g7 when you want to play it, but make sure that you get in f5. I don't see a problem with that. Why not f5? You could play bishop g7 next. Again, I'm not in a rush to castle necessarily, but I definitely want to play f5. Kim Le Quang? Is that just a coincidence? Well, that's weird. There's someone named Kim Le Quang. Is it possible that Le Quang has like a relative? Maybe like the Grandmaster, I mean, the male Grandmaster? Or it's just a common name. The Vietnamese Grandmaster, who has the little sweat towel at the board against me. I guess he's been immigrated to the United States by the billionaire. He's now running Susan Polgar Ministries. But anyway, does he have a relative here from 2002? I don't see the rush to castle. You might even consider like delaying it. I think it's more flexible. But f5 you definitely want to play. I mean, I guess white could try to blow your wheels off with some crazy like attacking plan or something with h4. But as I said earlier, I mean, you've got to watch out for g4. It's probably not that dangerous as long as you get in f5, but I still think first priority play f5. If white plays h4, it's like a Dutch. Why do you want to play f5 so fast? Because this is a bishop, man. I mean, you got to get your bishop in the game. This is the whole plan. White wants to play f5. White brings the knight through f6. This is the entire setup. That black best setup for black. Black has no problems in this variation. From what I've seen, it's basically impenetrable. You can even play h5 here. Then you play knight d7, knight f6. And I think that black should be careful regarding what to do here. You might want to play c6 or just hold off. But I think it's a very, very solid setup for black. Like, where else are you going to put your bishop? On e7? You know, it would be a different case if black had played d5 instead of d6. I mean, this bishop is... what is it doing? See here, like, two players played f5. Knight c6, alright. But where is it going to go? We have an alternative plan? Where is this knight going to go? I think this is a mistake. Normally, I guess you reserve... I mean, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it's alright. You can put the knight on e7. But I like this better. Here, with bishop g2, you play c6 to control the d5 square and nullify this bishop. White will try for a queenside minority. What do you call that? A minority attack? But I guess it's not a minority. He should go for b4, b5. d4 and b4, b5. Just a second. Okay, we're talking a lot about the pawn structure, but that's what white's setup, you know, white's position is based on closed structures and pawn strategy. I don't know what our plan is with knight c6. You're just like putting the knight on a random square. I don't like this square. Wow. This is interesting. I have never seen this before. Bishop f5. Huh. So this idea is to come here. That's interesting. It's new to me. Yeah, I would definitely have expected f5. Okay, so there is a point. Wow. I mean, I'm thinking usually of the Trompowsky. This is slightly different. It could have been a Trompowsky, but b3 is a waste of time in the Trompowsky. This is quite interesting. Did white make a mistake then? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are very few games here. It's actually four games. No games with this position. And suddenly after bishop g2 there are games. An old game from 1994. Clearly this is the plan. And just no good way for white to really guard that square. Oh, this is interesting. So now you've induced further weaknesses on the dark squares. Bishop f1 is a horrible move. Wow, that's impressive. Black played like perfect game. I've never seen anything like this. Damn. I mean, this is like engine level moves. D5, A3, D4. Does that work? Or does white end up with a better structure? It's possible it's a mistake to play D5. I don't know, I mean, this game is really over my head. I didn't expect white to play bishop f1. I expected white to play e4. And I think, like, that's what most of us would expect. White has another move, though. He could theoretically play, like, knight e4, which allows this. Bishop e4. Looks really ugly. Yeah, very creative idea by black. But what do we do against bishop f1? I think black's alright here, but is it the best? Is it the best? This is worst, this is worst. Holy shit. Wow. I mean, this is a crazy, crazy game. Black sacrificed a piece. And he said this is an over-the-board game. Well, he said it was 90-30. I don't know if that means it's over the board or not. Lord Teddy. Playing against a higher-rated player. Sacrificing a piece like Spielman, Rudolph. Unbelievable. Rook e8. So frightening to be down a piece here. Do we have enough compensation? What about king f2? Bishop h6. Knight d5. What about e4? White played e4. I don't think bishop e4 is better. I think like white is worse, but this is unbelievable. I mean, everyone expected d takes c. Including his opponent. And the assumption was, I guess, that white might be okay. But when black played d takes e, it was completely like a shot out of the blue. And white... You know what? You gotta consider everything here. Black also has to be able to calculate like what happens if white doesn't take the pawn. You know, he's up a piece. You even have to consider like f4, for example. I don't know if I could play this, you know, even in a long game with black. It's an extremely deep sacrifice. Do we have enough compensation? Feels like an engine is playing black. It's unbelievable. He can't take it because f5 is just too strong. I presume, right? Let's check. Here, wherever, not wherever, like he has to protect this. Oh my god. It's just outrageous. Maybe even this. Black now plays f5. Rook c1. Bishop takes c3, rook takes c3, queen d4. White is up a piece now. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Master, that's not okay. I don't like the look of king d2, but I mean, it looks like white's just like facing God or something. Man, I can't believe it. The computer says white is better. I would be like pooping myself with white here. This looks harder to play for white than black. You can go and say the computer says it's winning for white, but good luck, you know, playing against Rudolf Spielmann or Tal or whoever. I mean, this is extremely difficult for white. Way harder for white than for black. I think the majority of players would agree that black has good practical compensation here. I'd probably rather be black than white. King d2 looks extremely dangerous. It's very hard to get the pieces out. But did he have to do this? I mean, maybe white had something better. He doesn't want to help white develop. You got to admit, it was a fascinating and amazing sacrificial game by black. Hey, what's up? But maybe black was too fancy. I don't know. He doesn't really have another option. This is a neat move, man. I'm amazed by this game. I don't like trading for that knight on c3, but what options do we have? A day late and $1 short. Now he takes on g4. No? I don't understand what's happening now. After bishop takes g4, queen check, king c2. White played this just directly. Maybe it doesn't matter. Wow. It's totally paralyzed. So if he takes right away, you just take back with the pawn. But the problem is, knight e2 here, check. Let's check with the engine. Yeah, this is a really, really important moment, okay? White has to play bishop takes g4. This was key. Again, like, hard to play, but better for white. Can you listen? In headphones? What? What happened? We had a raid? We had a raid? No, we had a resub from Spectacular Camel. Alright. Yeah, man, this is so close. White has to play bishop takes g4. But the difference is very minor. Look, here, here. White thinks he's winning. You've also got this. Jesus. Another angle. What's the deal with knight f3? Is this a problem? Queen f2. This is a problem. This is unbelievable. White thought he was okay, but got pinned. Is white lost here? This is a very, very strong threat too. Looks like a5. a5, rook a6. This is white's rook. This is white's rook on drugs. Yeah, it's an impressive game. I agree. No, also impressive was that opening with knight c6 and knight c6 and knight b4 and bishop f5. I've never seen anything quite like that. High level. This white thought he was okay clearly, and now he's just like lost. Now we're just paralyzed. I mean, draw at best, right? So king d2, we have queen e3 check. I thought that black's winning here. It looks like Zugzwang to me. You know, they agreed to a draw. So, no? Queen e3 check, king c2, queen f2. I'm assuming this was a draw of a repetition. But what about a different move from black? Queen c2, queen f2, king d2. I mean, is white virtually in Zugzwang? Zugzwang. Okay, rook e3. Not this. Because white has d4, I think d4 is a problem. No? Is it a problem or not, officer? Basically, I was thinking about something that doesn't make sense. Damn, maybe we have to take the draw. I thought we had this, but then what happens on d4 anyway? Shoot. Yeah, we have this, right? Rook takes. This doesn't work. Damn. Doesn't seem to work. Is d4 winning for white? Repun said on Sunday I'm playing it over the board. Oh no, there's the... Dude, it's... What? Okay, Modi is coming to light the torch. They're having a torch relay for the Chess Olympics. But wait, when does the Chess Olympics start? That's cool. The last minute change, you know, from Russia to India for the Chess Olympics. The next one will be in Hungary, in Budapest, in 2 years or whenever. It's funny that they're having the Olympiad at the same time as the candidates matches. Isn't that kind of strange? Or is it just me? When is the Olympiad? Are they overlapping? That would be a really crazy thing to do. They're not overlapping Olympiad and candidates matches, are they? Yeah, that's really messed up, dude. That's extremely stupid. Zenchess just tipped $10. Who needs Streamlabs donation alerts? I had to turn them off. Well, I don't have a big enough monitor to have all the windows. If I had like a two monitor system, I would have caught it. Or my sound turned on. Thank you, Zenchess. Very generous, sir. $10 donation from Zenchess. You're the man. Long time no see. So what's happening here? This was an amazing game by black. White just tried to survive. So he takes the draw. Maybe he has to. Damn. Actually, I assumed black was winning when I saw this position. I can't believe he's not winning. would Rudolf Spielman do? You can take on h2 and have 2 pawns for the piece. Yeah, it's not clear. Wow. The computer thinks that black is close to winning. My move. Jesus Christ. But I have to admit, man, I mean, I wouldn't have known what to do, like, after rook e3. I can't blame anybody for taking the draw here. Because it looks like rook e3, d4, and like, white is up a piece. I don't know. I don't blame Lord Teddy for taking the draw. It's easy for a computer to decline a draw and play for the win here. It's not that obvious. On depth 14, it says black is winning if you play perfectly. Now it's not even sure. You think c5 is better. Yeah, I mean, we can't even say this is winning position. You can't even say it's winning position. For a human to take the draw here is reasonable. Alright, that's more than I can handle, evaluating that. There was really an interesting sacrifice, and justified. So, I think you can go either way and take the draw or play for the win there, depending on the situation. h5. You want to take the pawn on h2, maybe. Like Excel Poker would have played for the win. So Chess for Feel is another new subscriber playing black here. Let's do the Caro Kann. Tau variation, supposedly. h5 is the modern. Well, h5 is not modern. I mean, h5 is the main line. Even Karpov played that in the late 80s. Yeah, I mean, I guess people are going back to h6 now. This is essentially a question. Do you want to go with h6? Is h6 playable? Alright, h5 main move. Bishop g5. So, c4 is the main line. There are a lot of different moves. But bishop g5 is very sharp. I had a teammate who played this. I don't know the theory. Something with grabbing on b2. Yeah, Zen chess, but it's complicated. You know, h6 is playable. g4, I've played bishop d7 mostly in my limited experience. But these moves are playable too. I mean, these moves are, this is this horrible game though where Dingleren got crushed by Vachier. Bishop h7 is a move as well, allowing e6. I think I analyzed at least one of these games on Chess Lecture. Ivana versus Favinov 2000. It's probably instructive. Alright, but h5 is safer. Sort of. I was also playing, I've been playing a6 here for a little while. Who played that in the 80s? What did I say about the 80s? Karpov played h5. No, I don't know. Who's that? No, Karpov's been canceled. Sorry. Sorry, he's been canceled. Cancellation. We have a cancellation. Karpov played black. H5. I mean, it's been known since the 80s. But I was experimenting with A6 a little bit here. This actually looks interesting. The Duma, formerly known as Anatoly Karpov. A6, H5, Bishop G5, Queen B6, Bishop D3. So this is theory. If you take on B2, that's dangerous. Okay, so this is all known. So you see here there's... Let's see if I've ever had this position. I doubt it. Let's see. Player. I doubt I've ever played this position. Yeah, I did. Wow. I played it twice. You analyzed the stuff last week. Okay, so this is kind of a little out of fashion. Because I think, like, the C4 is way more popular than Bishop G5. Now, hold on a second. What about our heroes? What's his name? Schieberspieler? Is there some kind of queen... Forget Queen B6 for a second. You have to play Queen B6. Queen A5 check doesn't work. What's wrong with Queen A5 check? Not clear. I guess 92 is just... How bad is this for black? The queen's sort of on A5, like, randomly. It's not good. Okay, Queen B6, Bishop D3. I've definitely, like, seen this. This is super tricky. Knight F3. I swear I had this in a game. Queen G4. Ripunji, you're in the wrong stream. Alright. So this is playable for black, but very, very dangerous. Castles. Black's score here is okay. So it makes you wonder, is there some sort of hole here we're missing? So this variation is just not good for white, for real? Knight F3, Queen G4, Bishop takes F5. Morozevich twice had this. You take on F5. This doesn't look clear, though. You know, it looks like black has reasonable chances. I feel like there was a game where I got in trouble where white got the queen in somehow. C4. But it looks like if black is super, super careful, they're okay. Queen A6. That's like Schieberspieler style. There you have Queen H3. Not trading queens. I would never take this pawn on b2. Knight d2. Wow. Dude, stop it. No more talking about Hikaru Nakamura becoming world champion. It's enough of that. Sorry, dude. I have to time you out. I think if the candidates tournament is rigged, they'll have Hikaru win it, though, because that way there'll be like better content for the chess streamers, the top streamers. There's a good chance, you know, a rigged candidate tournament would have Hikaru win it, right? Then you could have the most spectacular, you know, spectator draw. I think that's what the chess streamers want to see. I think that Hikaru has like a 10% chance of winning the tournament or something. I don't know, c5 feels risky. But knight c3 is a mistake, I guess. That's all there is to it. Yeah. d2 is better. No, this is better. And then the main line seems to be c5. I'm still like not real excited. I'm not taking that pawn on b2. I'm letting white like take on b7. But I guess knight c3 is a mistake. Maybe c5 is alright. Takes? No. I mean, theoretically, if white's gonna move his knight from g1, just saying, right? Why put it on f3? Like, name one reason why f3 is better than e2. I don't understand. It blocks your f-pawn. It blocks your queen from, like, sliding over here. It doesn't protect your knight on c3. Where is it going from f3? This move, I have really zero concept of what white is doing. This totally makes more sense. If you're going to put the knight somewhere, I would say go to e2. But I guess it maybe doesn't matter. You know, it will matter if black does something like c4, obviously. The queen can move. I don't know. But I still think this is kind of a weird move. Knight f3. I just explained all the differences. I just literally listed them. Queen has mobility. The f-pawn can move. The knight protects the other knight on c3. And it still protects d4. There's no pressure on e5 here. But it looks like both of these guys played pawn takes c5, which kind of makes sense. Give up the center. How do you protect f2? Or do you not protect f2? You just like go nuts and castle queenside, right? That's the point. What's the point difference? Oh, alright. The point difference. You mean like the CPL. I didn't understand. I got it. I got what you mean now. I don't care. I mean, I don't want to use the computer too much to judge our positions here. But white is now threatening knight a4. Try not to overuse the engine. Be overly reliant on it. Yeah, castle's queenside. Knight c6. Why is knight a4 not a move? It just doesn't do anything? So white ends up with his e5 pawn hanging. Possible this. Rook c8. White was unimpressed by this variation. So this is a new move. Black just keeps the tension. Wow. Now we suddenly had a really funny transposition. Somehow another game just randomly transposed. I was just looking up Nikolai Borgia today on FIDE. I wasn't sure if he ever continued to play, but he's like me, kind of inactive IM. But this is funny. Here's inactive IM playing a game from 2021, so he hasn't given up chess. Was a strong player who I played years ago, 20 years ago, but could have been a contender. D takes c5. Now white castle kingside. We've got the exact same game. Wow, that's so strange. And there's another game from 2014. Richard Francisco against Robin Cunningham. In the US. I don't remember Robin Cunningham playing the Caro Kann. Maybe he did. So, another old friend of mine. He wanted to castle kingside. Wait, it's 2-0 here. Now black played a horrible move. Bishop e7. Is it a horrible move? I called it a horrible move. The problem is we're not up any material. What happened here? I kind of liked our position. You know, I mean, to be honest, guys, in channeling my inner Caro Kann player, I guess we even have to consider c4, right? That would obviously be possible against 92 as well. This would completely change the game. White would later have a b3 break. We also have to consider taking here. What about knight takes d4? I mean, the white pieces are starting to look pretty good. But knight c6? I mean, anytime you like destroy the enemy's center, I'm kind of on board with that. Any thoughts, anybody? Excel poker? Usually try like a6, prevent queen b5. I'm not really afraid of queen b5, to be honest. But a6 to prevent anything from b5 makes a certain amount of sense. Excel poker is afraid they might play for a draw. He's got to watch those like 2000 players playing for a draw in Blitz by trading queens. But I don't think like any good players are going for queen b5 much. I mean, there might be a few isolated situations where trading queens would benefit white. But I don't think that's something to really be worried about. But yeah, a6, unfortunately, it's a little slow. I mean, that's why I was talking about a6 earlier. a6 is a great move to have in. Do we have time? Do we have time for a6, though? It's a wonderful move if you have time for it. But I feel like here, it's clearly too slow. I can't believe, you know. But this looks interesting. Like, takes. I mean, I don't know. Is it that bad for black? Like, structurally, black is solid. This pawn on d5 is a massive, giant monster with 16 heads. If you think that white is clearly better here, you don't appreciate the pawn structure enough. This pawn on d5 is worth... It's like having an extra piece in the center of the board. It almost compensates for white's activity. So I want to check here with the engine. Yeah. Yes! I was right. You should take on d4. a6 looks a little slow. a6 gel. So white, I mean, black rather played a very natural move with knight c6. But this is more forcing. Now I would think he would take. And we just challenge it, man. We have a good game after knight c6. This is just the monster with 16 heads, you know? You have to understand, this is, I'm going to highlight it in red. But I mean, this pawn is it's like pawn god. It's the god of pawns. How can I make it red? Tab. Oh my god, I'm pressing random keys. There we go. The god of pawns has placed the d5 pawn. It's particularly with the knight on c3, like, what are you going to do? You can't even play c4. You can't challenge that pawn. You better sacrifice a knight or something to get rid of it. Man, black is better. After cd, knight takes, knight c6. I'm not surprised. Yeah, queen b5. Groveling for a draw. That's XL Poker's big fear. White might get a draw. Queen b5 is a grovel for a draw move. What are we worried about here? Black's like structurally better with a pawn on d5. Can play anything. Even queen takes b6 is not a problem. Never draw. His big problem is drawing. He's worried about drawing with black. Alright, you know, Leiko and you wouldn't really get along. So knight c6 takes, and this is a huge, huge, huge point. That knight coming back to f3 keeps the pieces on the board, and it protects e5. And white suddenly... I mean, again, I don't know if knight a4 is a problem, but the situation seems different now, somehow. The knight coming back to f3, almost like for free. It's not a coincidence white won both these games. But I don't know what to do. I literally don't know what to do. You know, maybe you should give him the bishop. Just develop your pieces. So I guess the point would be, yeah, this is what this guy did. See, Nikolai was tricky. He didn't go for the piece necessarily. He realized, like, this is not such a big deal. I mean, the knight's starting to come to f5. So he sets up basically a cheapo with b4. Black played knight f5. Oh shit, he just walked into a tactic. Whoops. Oh man, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good, master. a3 was a high level waiting move by white. But I'm not crazy about bishop e7 either. This is a bad exchange for black, by the way, but Admittedly, like, the bishop on g5 is pretty strong. f6 isn't recommended. What would Petrosian do? Like bishop f8 or something? I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm half joking. What would Tigran do? Bishop f8 is recommended. I don't know, man. We don't have the time, really, for a6. Oh, that's what Robin did. You know, I wonder if White was following this game. If Borgia was following this game. Castle queenside, if it wasn't illegal, it would still be a bad move. a3. And like, yeah. See, Robin tried to negotiate it, but Black's too far behind in development. This doesn't look great. Let's see if he can make it work. Knight on g to e7, b4, bishop a7, b5, knight a5, b takes a6. We're just dropping the a6 pawn. And he had to do a Karpov. Man, he couldn't take with the queen here? It's still bad, I guess. He could have taken with the queen. The problem is, like, knight g5. Maybe it's not game over. Wow, apparently Richard San Francisco has knight takes d5. Computer doesn't think it's clear. Holy shit. So Black blundered in this position. Saji sees immediately. I've played a mean king takes e7, but even I would prefer not to do it in this position. You're just asking for it, dude. He got reamed after king takes e7. Because there's still a chance, like, we can play, like, g6 and king f8 and king g7, probably. You can't really blame him for this, though. Damn. Boom. Oh. That's brutal, dude. Yeah, that's just brutal. Got wrecked by knight takes d5. So, in the game we have bishop e7. Let's see the game in question here. Similar position. Similar move. You know, so Chess for Field kind of did what Excel Poker was talking about with a6. Very similar to the Richard Francisco game. Look how similar it is. He's actually threatening b5. Like the exact same thing that happened in the other game. Is this going to hold up? I mean, you've already got to start wondering about this type of sacrifice, like what happened in the other game. Yeah, it looks like White's losing the thread. Maybe b5 is brilliancy. If this sacrifice doesn't work, damn, dude. If this sacrifice doesn't work, this was the money move. Bob, where are you? Like the other game, e6. And all hell breaks loose. Don't expect Alexei Shirov to turn this down. So maybe Black just doesn't have time for b5. You gotta do this. I was even worried about this. But it's probably too slow. Queen d8. Room for another donation? Absolutely. Move 11, there's always room for more donations. Guys, don't forget to donate and support the stream. The hat is not full. Zen just donated $10. Absolutely, we have room for another. No, we got a great advanced Caro-Kann here for you, Move 11. But that's too much. So Bishop G5, this is like the time I lost to Hikaru with the knight on G5. It always brings back memories, like, why do I have to lose to that punk? And help him to make a Grandmaster title in the process. I was having a great tournament. It was like night and day. First half and second half. Alright, long ago. Long memories, long ago. We just get over it. Get over it. Get beyond it. The punk. Yeah, B5 is too slow. Yeah, actually A4, the computer pointed out, is another possibility. Screw it, man. It's just a pawn. Like, what big deal, okay? You lost a pawn. White's got to play with energy. Rook A B1 is pathetic here. That's his worst move of the game. Knight F3 I didn't like either. Okay, give him credit for, like, half credit for playing A4. Better late than never. Oof, B5 is coming. Better call Richard San Francisco. Black navigates the threat. It's an improvement on Francisco versus Cunningham. The knight protects D5, so there's no sacrifices. And then a really spicy move here is B6. Well, I guess Queen C4. This isn't going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Magnus wasn't so intimidating when... No, I wasn't... Well, I mean, he already was a little intimidating, actually, HCFP. He was already a GM. I think all Grandmasters can be intimidating. There's something intimidating about 15-year-old Grandmasters, actually. You're kind of wrong. But it wasn't as intimidating as, like, playing, I don't know, you know, 2700, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I played all these guys, Carlsen, Hikaru, and Fabiano, when they were young enough that they weren't that scary. Yeah. Knight C4. How can you play Knight C4? It guards D6? Wow. What about Knight B5? Man, Rook B7 is scary too. I would want to get the hell out of there. Can I ask a question? Do you mind? Yeah, that was my question. Feeling something that isn't visible online, like... Dude, I had the weirdest experience. I told everybody that when I played Lembit Old, that was the most intimidated I ever was. I don't know why. Like, okay, he was like 2650 and had like won the New York Open. He was a very strong player, but there was something about him, like he was like staring at me weird. Then he like jumped off a building a couple weeks later. He was the most intimidating player. The most I ever felt intimidated by a player. Is it a coincidence that he committed, you know, suicide 2 weeks later? Was he pushed or did he jump? I don't know. Maybe he's staring at somebody. It's a bad joke. I don't know the story that well. We'd have to ask Elvest. He knows him best, I guess. But the other player I found difficult to play against was Walter Brown. But it was different. It wasn't like a intimidating thing. It was like he had this incredible nervous energy. that made it hard to concentrate. But Ol was actually intimidating. I never played like Kasparov or, you know, a 2800 player, so I don't know. Maybe they're all intimidating. But I have a question. Why doesn't Black castle here? Seriously. Can somebody answer me why Black doesn't castle in this position? I don't understand. Because I would be like, dude, your A pawn is not dangerous. I've got a good structure. My king is freaking safe. The only problem is like rook b7. That's covered by knight a5. Maybe he didn't like knight b5, knight d6. But I don't know. I mean, this just doesn't seem that big a deal. But still, again, the magic queen trade. We always want to trade queens. Is this a problem? Knight d6 isn't bad, but I mean, Black's actually a pawn up here. So I'm really not, you know, even like maybe White has compensation or something, but he doesn't really want to trade queens. He'd be down a pawn in an endgame or something. I say you castle and get the hell out of there. So he played this, which is more aggressive. And that's the problem. Like, we can't castle now because our knight is hanging. So this is like more dangerous. It feels a little more dangerous for Black than what happened, you know, in the other variation. White just plays like a mental tactic now with knight e4, which actually allows Black to castle. It's pretty funny. Right now Black can't castle, but he has this outside pawn. There's a threat of rook b8. Like, dude, what's up with rook b8? Seriously. Are we taking and playing knight c8? Because that doesn't look safe. Master, is that safe? Because I'm not really sure I like that. This, yeah. g6, knight g5. Do we want to allow that to happen? I mean, I like getting the a6 pawn, but I'd really rather have castled. This doesn't seem really safe. Yeah, White had rook b8, man. It's lights out. It's lights out. He was winning here with rook b8. Phew, you're lucky. The guy plays a crazy move, knight e4. And the idea is like simply like takes, check, and mate. But that's like hope chess. White started playing hope chess. Oh my god. White's a psychopath. Now f5. I feel like f5 is safer. The problem is if knight e5, you can't force a trade of queens. And like all kinds of shit could happen. This is really, really bad. Like game over bad. I mean, I don't know. It's not game over bad. Damn, Black can hold on here. That's crazy. Really interesting position. Because I have to admit, like, I was seriously, this is one of the most interesting games we analyzed in a while. I was actually thinking about f5. Yeah, I gotta argue taking for the queen trade. We gotta trade queens if we can. The Acer mate. Depth 17. Rook a7. If you play the Caro-Kann, you really need to defend. You need to be able to defend like Karpov. I mean, seriously, whatever his name is. You gotta have very good defensive skills to play the Caro-Kann. Unless you play like Excel Poker. He just attacks. But I don't understand, like, if you're an attacking player, then don't play the Caro-Kann. Alright. If you're playing the Caro-Kann, you're an attacking player, you should, like, play a different opening. F takes... He doesn't want to trade queens. This is crazy. You're, like, asking for it. G6 or something? I don't want to look. Is black going to get mated here? This looks insanely dangerous. Can you imagine, like, e4, queen c3? White doesn't have anything. Are you sure? Because it does. It does look kind of bad. This looks crazy. Is black lost here? Man, what a position. Jesus. Queen d4 is even better. Black is losing. Up a piece and lost. Oh my god. Here, queen f6. That's why you want to trade queens, so this doesn't happen. This is coming down. My god. Yeah, have fun with your knight and your pawn on a4. There's... You gotta learn to trade queens when you play the black side of the Caro-Kann. This is a blunder. Wow. White had to play g6. What a game. That was a great game. Similar, but not the same. Amazingly here, you'd think like white was winning this. That's crazy. This is crazy that black's actually holding this. This is the point. You get the queen across. That's surprising, but works. So in other variations, that didn't save him. We were looking at g6. Okay, like the e4 has to be a bad move, I guess. Maybe black still has some hope here. But you gotta get clearance, right? So here, queen d4, e5, queen takes d5, and now this is hanging. So you can't play that because you're like c4 knight is hanging. Let's see. I mean, even this. I mean, now it might be okay. I want to check this with the computer. G takes f7 check. King g7, knight takes e5, or rook takes e5. Damn, dude. There's just all tactics here. It's just all tactics. Crazy. So this was the game. Any trade of queens is a good trade of queens. Just ridiculous. Anyway, nice knowing you. Yeah, that was messy. I mean, black wins the game, but I think black was very lucky to win the game. Like, white clearly missed rook b8. Like, totally winning. Like, clear, easy winning. So black was a little bit too risque in that game. Save a dog versus Balcar. You know you're not supposed to submit games against me. That's the first rule of subscriber stream. You're not allowed to show your games against me. Even though the one, you know, in this case is a draw. What do we got? A message. Move 11. We got Astrobate tipping $10. Astrobate tipping $10 for move 11. Very nice of you, Astrobate. Those late submissions, they're accompanied by $10 donations. Astrobate's donation allows for move 11's late submission. I don't know. This might be a 3-beer stream if we continue. I had my COVID booster today, so I shouldn't drink too much. But it was just a booster. Study. Is there a Streamlabs notification for PayPal donations? Yeah. It should be. It shouldn't matter. If you make the PayPal donation via Streamlabs, yes. Actually, that's the only kind of donation you can make, because the credit cards are not working. They think I'm in Russia or something. I don't know what... It's not. It's not. Something's wrong with my Streamlabs credit card donations, but whatever. HTFP with 500 bits. Move 11 just gifted a tier 1 sub to J Grassman. JT Grassman. A new pair of glasses for me. Alright. The ambulance is on the way. The exciting knight f3, b3. This is how I lost to Burmakin. Bishop g4. I think it was the first and the last time I've ever played knight f3, d5, b3. I lost to Vlad, my blackjack buddy, Burmakin. This is an annoying line. There's a famous game from the late 80s. Smyslov Kasparov, I believe, between two world champions. Bishop g4 just straight up equalizes. That's always good, pretty much against all these slow setups. You can always play in Trompowsky style. I think actually, I lost to Burmakin in the Kasparov Smyslov variation. Like e3, e5, h3, bishop takes f3. I guess it's okay if white really knows what the hell they're doing, but I didn't, and I was like not really that familiar with white's formation. Let him have too much center, and I just like lost. You got to know exactly what you're doing, and white's probably okay. But actually, I like the Jim solution where you just allow the double pawns. It's not a problem. And then white can capture either way. Hikaru plays the stuff. The punk. Hikaru is a punk. But he's a strong punk, but I still think he's an underdog to win the candidates, 10%. Because he does too much Twitch streaming, which is bad for your game. At that level. Serious chess players shouldn't be streaming on Twitch. That's why I'm doing it. But anyway, alright. Move 11 does not play bishop g4. He plays his setup with g6. So we're gonna... What are we gonna get here? Funny how rare g6 is. Is there whatever. Is there something wrong with g6 though? Objectively? You're committed to d5, but white's committed to b3. White's committed to knight f3. You went through PayPal and didn't show up. Well, that's another weird thing for Streamlabs. Wait, you went through PayPal, but directly through PayPal, not through Streamlabs. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why. So Move 11 donated $10 directly through PayPal. I don't get a live notification for that. Alright, thank you, sir. We salute you for your donation. If I act like I'm drunk or something, it's just my COVID booster. I'm not really drunk. I just drank one beer. G6, bishop b2, knight f6, and this is the key question. So like that other game we analyzed already today, bishop takes f6. The only problem is, like, black's committed. Black's committed to playing d5. You've committed. In the other game we saw today, white played b3, but black had played d6. How does that really change the calculus? It does change the calculus slightly, but I still think it's okay for black. It's a little different. Alright. Number one move is c4. It's a reverse Queen's Indian. Move 11, if c4, what did you intend to play, by the way? Can you try to play like a reverse hedgehog here? Like c4, bishop g7. This is really weird. C takes d5, take with the queen. You can castle. Yeah, this is Twilight Zone. If you had to draw for $1 million, would you play g6 and allow bishop takes f6? Well, I ain't playing f6, but if I have this position, I'm not choosing. Yeah, I probably wouldn't play g6. If I had to draw for $1 million, I would play bishop g4. I would definitely play bishop g4. The draw percentage is 40% with bishop g4. With g6, 40%. What a coincidence. Where's our highest draw percentage? c5. It's because, yeah, COVID backs. We better not make it a 3-beer night. Alright, g6 here, takes. Didn't happen. White played g3. Double fianchetto, but it's not dangerous now. We have a standard double fianchetto. Bishop g7. Why am I analyzing move 11s first anyway? You tricked me. I was supposed to do HTFP's game. What did we do? You put yourself in front of Save a Dog. Move 11. He paid an extra $10. Alright. Bishop g2, castles. Move 11 donated $10. HTFP donated 500 bits. Asterbait donated $10. They outpriced HTFP. Move 11, you did this again. When was this game from? This was today. You're obsessed with playing bishop g4. What's bishop g4? You did this again. He just likes going bishop g4 in tandem with bishop g7. This is a weird move. One or the other, but not both. You just like playing bishop g4 and bishop g7. It felt normal here. I don't think it's ever really that normal with the bishop on g7. Obviously it's not a terrible move. c5 is main line. c6 is like solid. Here's Nakamura Topalov, c4. Now it becomes a move. So is there any problem with bishop g4 first? Nothing wrong with it, I guess. There's really nothing wrong with it. I prefer c5. But we are trying to play a tempo up in we're trying to play tempo up with black. It's a little, I mean, a tempo up for white here. You're a tempo down with black. Okay, maybe it's not so stupid. Bishop g4. We transpose. Yeah, and then Baggio played d4. Yeah, d4 is kind of gross, but I always like to play more flexibly. The ready. It's a ready. Yeah, I personally don't really like d4, but it's perfectly solid. a5 is a good move. And now, so what he tried to do was take advantage of your bishop on g4. Why are we out of theory here? So e6 is a mistake because your bishop gets blocked in. You made a mistake. You have to play knight on bd7 first to stop him from playing knight e5, or try to negate that. It doesn't stop him per se, but e6 blocks your bishop. So if here, yeah, bishop takes f3, that's been played 31 times. Very solid. If I have to draw for $1 million, that's a good choice. Bishop e6. You know, I've played this type of position with black way more than with white. Now we're into territory I'd more commonly play with black. But my bishop would normally be like on f5 in some kind of quiet variation against the King's Indian. Is this a problem? What about this right away? Here. I guess he figured he doesn't have enough control of e4 to really do anything to that. I know you're ready to play h5. It looks like it's okay for you, man. It's actually okay. If I seem really tired or anything, I think it's my COVID booster shot. h3. Now you did something extreme. You played g5. So what do you think about h5, move 11? My first thought is h5. I don't know why. If f3. I mean, I guess in emergency you can play g5 if you have no other choice. Is your bishop going to get trapped? You just played g5 right away. So now what happens on g4? He did it. Yeah, he went for your bishop. So I think this is an important question. h5 right away. It's a big difference. If he has to play f3 to enforce g4, then you can go here. You also have this. Here. White's kingside is kind of weird too. I think I prefer that he goes for your bishop. Now this pawn looks a little weak. But that's not really White's target. White has an unopposed white square bishop, so he should be targeting the light squares. Difficult to use it. It looks like move 11's alright here. He played in Slav style. This is a non-committal move. This is nothing. White has nothing. Apparently. I don't know. Maybe you should do like, what should you do? Rook e8? It is kind of hard to suggest a plan of action for black. You don't really have a break. You're just like waiting. This is funny, like you moved your same rook again, following him. And then e4. So he couldn't wait around any longer. So is white really better here? Can white break black's position only with d5? It looks like. This would be a good position to get like queen h8. Frontal queen. Oh, you did what I did. This was my move against Kashishvili in a game, knight c5, but it was more effective there. That's a nice move. And then a4. And he took. Are you serious? Wait, took on a4. Wow. He didn't care about his structure. I expected white would play like, man, b4. He has b4. Knight b3. Maybe he can get in b5 or something. But he destroyed his own pawn structure. That's kind of weird. What do you think? I mean, I think that's kind of odd. I thought he should keep the pawn structure together. He goes for this guy. But that's alright. Like, we're going to focus on the d4. Yes. 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 Here. Black is okay. What's the vow? 0.0. It's 0.0. Rook d7. The rock. You didn't find rook d7. That's computer. Modern computers with their waiting moves. This is pretty sharp, actually. Move 11, took. Took, took, took. This is weak. We can lose a pawn. I don't like these pawns over here. Two passed pawns. G5's hanging as well. Are you alright here? I mean, it looks like you're like gonna be 2 pawns down. In retrospect, we didn't want to drop b7. Because that loses the c6 pawn too. Yeah, this was really solid. I mean, I guess you figured white's gonna play, you give him time, he's gonna play bishop e3. And then your knight is sort of stuck out there on a4. Was the entire plan a mistake? Is it possible your entire plan was a mistake with knight c5? But it's a fast time control and you with less time. You got to make a decision. All right. a4 makes sense. Here you are. And you, yeah. Defined rook d7. This looks rough. If you pick off one of the pawns, there might be a chance to survive. Menacing trio. Move 11 trying to get something going on the dark squares. That's not good. Queen e7's coming. queen d7. Yeah. Bishop pair. Bishop pair wins. Are you glad you traded your bishop now? What about g5? Versus h5. Wow, there's a really interesting move there. g5, g4, bishop e4. I wouldn't really have considered that seriously. I feel like you got to be a Slav expert to play that. I don't know. I like h5 better. Yeah, this is the variation I'm talking about. Does look a little dodgy. What's the moral of the story? Anybody? Anybody? The important thing is the Chinese characters. But no, seriously. What's the moral of the story? You shouldn't have let him play knight e5. I guess. If we have to do this again, either you take or you go here. We're not going to let this happen again. This is funny though. You have bishop e6. Another outside advantage in not playing e6 is that you keep that retreat there. Yeah, the bishop pair became strong in the end. Okay, move 11. Instructive. I've got Asterbait here. No, sorry. We almost skipped him again. Save a Dog. Save a Dog's game versus me. Okay. Save a Dog is white. It's I decided to throw out this random opening. Can I play with bishop c8 like a Kali? Sure. You can always do that. I mean, you're going to get a kind of Catalan, right? Like a passive Catalan. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, COVID booster shot. It feels so good. d6, knight c3, knight f6, f4. I played the Pribble. Yeah, once I like had a game against Alexander Ivanov. Did I play this early? I don't remember. Like, it's possible, like, knight on bd7, castles. No. It has to be bishop g4. Then bishop e3. So you're supposed to play this. The rule is, Save a Dog, like, keep the tension as long as you can. So I thought this was like a really big mistake for you. But it's funny, it may not be that bad. I don't see what you really gain from this exchange, though. I mean, all you're doing is like extending my bishop's potential. You don't like want to like trade off my bad bishop or something like that. You're making my bishop great again. So I don't really like the exchange. It's a little like our first game with Morales. I remember playing this with Black thinking, oh, I've got a great position. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? It's not that great. But I'm not really sure like where the moment was where it came over me. Here I played bishop b4, which is a bad a bad idea. Dark squares. It's all about the dark squares. Bishop b4 was a mistake. But I never played this really. So I should take knight e5. Pribble himself played it in 1987 with a good game. Black is 3.5 out of 4 here. Damn. Wait, yeah, some people actually play queen takes. He shouldn't take on e5 and activate my bishop, but I got carried away. Bishop e4. It doesn't really do anything. I missed this, to be honest. I totally missed 92. Solid move. That's a nice move. You transfer over here. And then I went crazy. I was scared I was going to be worse. Here. I went sort of crazy with h5. What's the normal plan? Take. Knight takes. Knight e5. Queen e2. Castle. I mean, the point is that his bishop is sort of not great. Okay, h5 is interesting. Better to just take on f4. I decided to play like a psychopath. Now, rook d1, which seems illogical because your rook is already on an open file. Then we just traded into the ending. I mean, obviously this is a serious problem. If king here, I have knight g4. That fishing pole is a legit fishing pole. So actually this is a correct move. Unless you want to play king f1. King f1 looks kind of dangerous. This is just a little dangerous. Just a bit outside. So I thought about bishop c5. Maybe if I had more time, I would have found this. I'm already worried about the time. The time situation. So I was happy to trade queens, and I thought I was better. You ought to consider this too. But I guess black is still structurally better. This way he gets the pawn on e5. Yeah, he's right. This is better. Okay. No, you did it right. You have to take here. If I had time to play a5, I would be better. b4 is a nice move. They're asking about Master Fugu. We haven't seen Master Fugu. He's in the storage unit. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think this is a good move by you. At this point, I started to be disappointed with my position. Didn't really want to let you trade your bad bishop off. This is a problem. Now I felt unhappy. I'm from the United States, but I live in Hungary. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit zonked from the COVID vax. I felt really good, but it came over me. Hopefully we'll be able to continue. Alright, we're just a little tired. Knight e6, bishop c4, knight takes e5, bishop takes e6, f takes e6. Yeah, I mean, basically black is not better anymore because he got rid of his bad bishop. That was my basis for my advantage. Now the position is like equal. I think I missed something. Maybe not. This looks like a draw to me now. It's completely symmetrical. And I didn't like this. And I don't want to fix his pawns. I think this is the correct result. The position is equal. It's like really dead equal. It has to be a draw. So, I mean, the key was like, I don't like White's decision to play this pawn takes pawn. And I think I was doing well for a long time. But when I do this, he's suddenly okay. The moment that he gets rid of this bad bishop. You could have won a pawn. Oh my god. We don't talk about that. Insignificant blunder is not... We don't talk about that here. So rook d8 is a mistake. You're not threatening anything. So it was really stupid of me to allow that. Yeah, he's pointing out the truth. Like, he had rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, king takes, and then knight f4. White's just winning a pawn. It was a very dumb blunder by me. I mean, you're not threatening to penetrate. My knight's holding d7, so... I had no reason I couldn't play g5 right away. For example, just change the move order. I mean, I seriously don't think this is gonna be enough. Then I play rook d8. It was a bad move order by me to play rook d8 right away. But that's important to point it out, that you had a winning position. Thank you. Alright guys, what do we got left? Artem versus Asterbate. Artem Asterbate. Sicilian. The old queen takes d4. One of my other beginner students had a game of this today. HEFP, thank you. Yeah, not that much in that game. You're right. You were winning for a move. That was a stupid blunder by me. But you have to keep the tension in the opening. That's a good line, though. I think that's White's best line against the Pribble. Alright. Here, Asterbate played an interesting move. He's suckered black or white into playing e5. I literally talked about this today. That's so funny. Master database. Knight c6 was played in 38 games. Would you guys believe it that I told one of my students today that he should maybe think about playing knight f6 to try to like sucker white into playing e5 here? Would you actually believe I had this conversation today with someone else? If you look with Stockfish, there's no advantage between knight c6 and knight f6 are indistinguishable, I think. Knight c6 is 0.0, knight f6 is 0.0. Yeah, hope chess, but the thing about this is like it's what's the word? It's like constructive hope chess. you know? It's hope chess with benefits. This is the new term. Hope chess with benefits. You're making a developing move, and you're hoping to like trick white at the same time. If you play knight c6, he'll never drop his central pawn. The better example is the center game, the center attack. Check out the database. I showed this before. But here, black has played knight c6 851 times in the master database, and knight f6 8. The evaluation is exactly the same. So, explain to me why exactly 851 people played knight c6 and only like 8 played knight f6, even though they're equivalent moves. It's immediate gratification. Are they going to drop their queen? No. Good job, Astrobate. Learning. You're learning. Ta-da! And now, white see, he sees that queen's attacked. White's losing the e5 pawn. He fell into the trap. That's the whole point. Yeah, white's losing the pawn. This is the only variation that he doesn't lose the pawn. Here we have knight e4. We've seen this before. I think this happened in another game. Astrobate, did you have this already? Did you have a game where this happened already? No, but somebody did. Or we analyzed it, maybe. That's a great trick. No, Astrobate is black. Did I set it wrong? You're right. Ta-da! There it is. Thanks, Move 11. Astrobate's got this. He's got this position. Wow, check it out. Yeah. That's absurd. Astrobate's had this position 97 times. Unbelievable. The math teacher variation. My high school math teacher, junior high, actually, was it high school? High school math teacher. My high school math teacher, used to play this with white, but Astrobate with knight f6. You actually had this game before. Queen c3 is the best move. And now e6. Threatening. This is friends with benefits again. Astrobate already won the same game before. E takes d4. I mean, e takes f6. He walks right into it. Unbelievable. Now, if castling was legal, I would play it. I love how patient he is, though. He doesn't cash in for the queen right away. He plays rook g8. That's the engine move. I mean, I'm like reporting Astrobate at this point if I'm white, right? You're white, you're like 1600. The guy's playing like rook g8 instead of taking on c3. I'm reporting you. You're definitely an engine. Bishop d2. Bishop takes c3 check. Look at that. Now f6 deserves serious consideration. Yeah, he probably did remember it. Jesus Christ. Queen d5 is the engine move too. Like, most people would probably be satisfied with like winning this pawn. Astrobate actually played the computer move, queen d5, threatening queen g2. You were in the zone in this game, man. Don't tell me that Queen E4 is engine. No. Now you went off on a tangent. He was attacking C2. But this game is just a non-starter. White had no chance here. Really nice. Blunder? Yes, a minor blunder. Keeps this supported. Now white has takes, bishop g4. Oh my god. So what are you going to do here? You just screwed up. It looks like white is saving the game in this line. You'd have to not take and then be very careful. Like, bishop g4 check, king c1. I don't know. Maybe you should trade the bishop off. Like, black's still winning, but you know, you have to be a little bit careful. That's not good. Ugh. Seriously? Queen takes f1. There was a time like 2 years ago when Astrobate was always playing for mate. And then at some point he like totally changed and became more practical and started going for material. The old Astrobate never would have missed this. You know, he always would have played for the mate. But he's become much more pragmatic now. I like the old mating Astrobate. The guy actually resigned. Alright. He felt like you were trolling him. It's like he's not even mating me in one. I'm resigning. Actually, I would have left the game, let my clock run out. No, never do that. I'm just kidding. Okay, Uber Driver submitted a game here. What do we got? Uber Driver and Resident Spectator. Then I'm going to go rest and let my COVID vaccine settle in. Man, I felt really fine, but I had one beer. I don't know. One beer and COVID vax. I feel like I've been drugged or something. I wouldn't have drank the beer if I thought that I had any side effects. Alright. We gotta be careful here. Uber driver Rabani BC. I'm sure that you're not supposed to drink a beer after having the COVID vaccination. But I didn't think one beer would matter. It's only a half dose. Not fish or eggs? Good to know. I'm allergic to penicillin. Which is made from eggs, right? They use eggs to make penicillin. F4, E takes F4. Now, this is not Astrobate. Let's get Astrobate out of there. No game found. Astrobate, you're done for today. Alright. All set. Whatever. This is Uber Driver playing white. E4, yeah, this is Astrobate also played F4 in a recent game. I don't know about this. That's really crazy that I only have one game as white here. That's like... Okay, I've had a lot of unrated games. One rated game, or one game on this account. I played a lot of anonymous games. This is a problem. We're actually, oh, one game is black. I had only one game is black. That's what it was saying. Thanks, Move11, for pointing that out. You know what's a really funny statistic? Asterbate has played d4 like a couple of times here. I wonder if d4 is a better idea than, you know. Do we go into a Steinitz? Come on, Uber driver. He did it. Uber driver played the Steinitz. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, famous variation. So, I was talking about this with Asterbate today. You know, famously, of course, Queen h4, King e2. f5. No, I mean, I'm afraid of d5. There's literally like almost no practice for this, which is like essentially a massively critical variation. Can I just ask an honest question? How the fuck, excuse my language, are there no like correspondence games in this position? Like seriously. This is a really wild position. It would be perfect. Yeah, I mean, David Pruis has one game, Florian Graffel, a couple random players, but like, how are there not like thematic? This would be like the perfect position for like a thematic correspondence tournament. The evaluation is 0.0. I mean, could you have a better, more interesting position to play like in correspondence chess? 0.0. In total insanity. Pawn takes pawn. The eval is 0.0. White's king is in the center of the board. Computer is calling it 0.0. It's just totally an amazing position. And there's no games. But the engine's other move is f5. This is really messed up. Not a single game. Number one move of Stockfish. Are you serious? I don't know if that will hold up. Probably not. It looks like f5 doesn't necessarily hold up, but let's see. I don't know. I forgot. It's the COVID vax, man. The COVID vax is making me have Tourette's syndrome. I had yeah. I drop the F-bomb on the kids all the time. F5 theoretical novelty. Anyway, Asterbate, I think you should seriously consider, and really like anybody who's interested in playing the Vienna, should seriously consider going to the Steinitz. This line is just absolute insanity. King e2, b6. So this seems to be a problem. Andrew Martin versus Michael Adams, 92. Do we have a problem here, officer? This looks like might be an issue. Closest thing to a reputation I've seen. What I like about like very rarely using profanity is it has more emphasis. You know, if you use bad language constantly, it loses its effectiveness, you know. What's the point of dropping the F-bomb every sentence? I hate when people do that. You know, it's like, whatever that guy. Gotham City Chess or whatever. He thinks he's like Howard Stern of the chess world. I mean, dude, seriously? It's not cool to use the F-bomb every sentence. It's like, it just doesn't even have any sort of emphasis. Alright, sorry Howard for the comparison. But, alright, we're going to go on. So, Uber driver playing white, king e2. Boom, this didn't happen. Bishop e4. That's crazy. There's only like 2 games here where this ever happened. Alexei Alexeyev against Konstantin Tarlev, who's a Ukrainian GM. And Shirazi, of course, playing white against the Paraguayan Grandmaster Axel Bachmann. That's crazy. There's only 2 games, and both of them are like really strong players with black. And Shirazi with white in one of them. Yeah, Howard watches chess. Howard likes chess. But I'm sorry I compared him to Gotham City Rollers. Howard's gotten better lately, though. I like the mature Howard. Alright. He sort of mellowed out. Bishop takes f4. Although maybe he's too political. Whatever. He's not really a problem. Yeah, bishop e4 seems good. You got Shirazi losing with the white pieces. Shirazi plays all kinds of interesting stuff. That's why I friended him on lichess. You got a guy who plays really weird and interesting openings and actually knows them pretty well. I mean, I played Kamran in Live Blitz, and it's always fun. Bishop takes f4. Logical, right? What did Alexei Alexeyev? Yeah. Did knight f3. It's also a reasonable move. That's a tough one. They're probably both playable. But this prevents queen h4 check, because we can play g3 at the very least. Why do I even bother, commenting? I'm sitting here, I'm like, preventing queen h4 check. Uber driver's opponent does it anyway. I tell you what Black's thinking here. He's like, well, maybe he'll play bishop g3, and then I get to play the cool queen takes e4 check. This is exactly what Black. Speaking of hope chess, this is literally all that went through Black's mind. He's hoping that he'll grab this pawn with check. I'm not even sure if that's good, but it's irrelevant because white's not going to be that stupid. Shirazi Bachmann, knight f6. Get the impression that this should be a decent Vienna gambit for white. I like the center. But Kamran has a problem keeping both pawns protected. Can't... How does this work? Bishop d3? Damn, he freaking drops a pawn. Are you serious? This is not dropping the pawn. I mean, Kamran's crazy and he let Black take this pawn on purpose. But that's insane. Wow. I mean, we got to be able to play a sound move here for white. Queen d3 is classic. Reminds me of the Chigorin. Then maybe d5. I don't know what to play. Any ideas, anybody? Don't get Arsenal started about the economy. He went off on economics yesterday. I was impressed by his credentials. I like it better when he talks about economics than politics in general. No, seriously, what's the best move? Wow, BG5. Queen D3 is second best. You know what this means, right? Can you guys tell me what this means? Anybody? This is opening study, with the engine. We're learning about a variation. What is our conclusion here? Anybody? Aspirate says, I like bishop c4 and knight f3. But that's close. What does it tell us? Why Shirazi has a problem? Maybe bishop f4 is wrong. Maybe Alexeyev is actually right. What if we bring out balanced development with knight f3? Why is the stream so interactive today? Why not? There's no way to keep the tension. D5 is going to blast us anyway. What happens on bishop d3? Wow. Alexeyev against Konstantin Tarlev. Black played d6. And just let him snarf that pawn on f4. I don't know. What about this? Wouldn't we, want to take that pawn? The engine actually likes castles with plus 1.6. And that's a 2468 playing black here. Holy shit. This guy is a GM. He's not old, so I assume he probably wasn't a GM back in 2007, but he was still 2468, which is like my peak rating, approximately. So that's pretty good. And he is a GM now, but man, wow. D6 is just weak. He had to play D5. I guarantee you that if the Paraguayan guy had this position and waited played knight f3, he would have played D5. The other guy. Yeah, this is interesting. Is knight f3 better than bishop f4? I don't know. We'd have to let the engine run and run. Knight f3 feels a little more balanced. Bishop f4, knight f6. So the computer really likes this. This is a weird line. Bishop takes f4, knight f6, bishop g5. It seems weird to play the bishop twice. It's hard to believe that that's a problem. h6, bishop f6, queen f6. Okay, so this is what we've got to do. It's like a Trompowsky, basically. Alright, it's alright. Yeah, Shirazi went nuts. He played knight f6 and sacked his central pawn against the Grandmaster. This is the problem with Kamran. He'll do really insane stuff. I mean, that's a central pawn you're sacrificing. Yeah, queen d3 is alright, but it's a little slow and the queen is kind of vulnerable here. Well, anyway, UberDriver's opponent makes a mistake. He played queen h4 check. This is a mistake, for sure. g3. You, weaken white's position slightly, but it's not worth it. Now, obviously, black has to try queen e7, I assume. I wouldn't really mind if you played queen d8. But queen f6 looks funky. I guess he wants to go here. I don't know. White's better. But white has to be really, really careful to keep the center protected. I think it's important this knight is blocked by the queen, too. I'm not sure about bishop e5. That doesn't feel right to me. Like, Uber Driver, you have a huge sort of vacuum over here on the king side on the white squares. So it seems inconsistent to me. He did this presumably to like defend his central pawn on d4 against like bishop g4. But I'm not sure, man. You know what might actually be a good move for white? h3. Like, no joke. What if you play h3? Stopping bishop g4 and not getting rid of your white square bishop or moving it away from the kingside vacuum, you know? Like, maybe we can develop with bishop g2 and play on the king side. I'm not sure, but I kind of like h3. Phew. It's getting airy around here. Like, I don't really like that, but nice idea, though. Knight e7 is probably bad. The minute that white castles, he's threatening knight d5 in a massive, massive way. So black has to act accordingly here. I mean, I don't know that white is threatening d5 actually because of this. Maybe he is actually threatening d5 because this is not such a big deal. You can take twice and bring the bishop back to d2. I guess d5 can be met by a6. Black has to have a better move here. Bishop g4 for sure. I assume Uber Driver would consider castling. Maybe black takes here. White takes. And it does not look great for black. Let's see what the engine says. Is my h3 a mistake? It's slow. Bishop g2 is better. And if bishop g4, you have a3. But I definitely don't want to have a vacuum on the king side. But black is missing knight d5. Well, that's a brutal move. Yeah. That's a brutal move. It's hitting c7, it's hitting the queen, and it's black is only threatening to win the exchange. Actually, white center is so strong, giving up this exchange isn't really a bad idea positionally. You know, even if you're not like destroying black altogether, I really don't think losing this exchange is such a bad thing. That's a nice move. Now he has to play, I guess, a6. No, this is playable. Queen takes, a6. And then you got a tactic here. Queen takes b5 or pawn takes b7. Wins the bishop. Easy game. Easy game. Yeah. Uber Driver versus Potzer. Black left the game. He left the game. But why? Still not over, but you're going to take on h6. Elvest has left the building. Yeah, that was destructive. Okay, we're on to our last game. Resident Spectator. The Resident Patient. 7-Up Nation Army. The White Stripes reference. So, right. I'm sorry. I apologize for my Tourette syndrome, but Moderna made me do it. Okay. D4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, bishop b4 check. The exciting, the moment the Bobogo is played, the excitement mounts. Mr. Coffee's into it. Move 11's into it, but like most people are like snooze-a-thon. I love the Bogo, you know, but it can be kind of boring at times. This is basically like the Roslimo. You know, did you guys think about this opening theoretically? Knight d2 is the move that really tries to punish it. I'm gonna crush you by playing knight on bd2. Give me your bishop. It's very subtle chess. Carlsen. I lost to Kosic. Yeah, I think bishop d2 is a solid way to play for a $1 million draw. Yeah, queen e7. I mean, I have extensive experience playing against the Bogo and playing the Bogo with black. I have extensive experience for both sides, and it's never an easy game. Cheese. 33 takedowns, the world champions. I unsubscribed from ICC messages today. I couldn't take it anymore. That site should be put out of its misery. Alright. Bishop d2. I normally play into the Nimzo, but I just lost a game to the guy in a rematch. Yeah. No, it's good to play, you know, more than one thing. But bishop d2 is annoying. ICC had a forum. No, you know, they send out emails, like advertising emails. I was on their subscription list forever, and I never bothered to like click the unsubscribe. But today, when they sent me like Chess Explains 33 ways to take down world champions, I was like, all right, dude, I'm done. That was enough for me. They're trying to hang on. They're like clinging to the. They have like one employee at ICC, I'm pretty sure. They must have like one paid employee who gets paid like $5 an hour. That's like their staff over there. The rest of the money all goes to the owners. They have like indentured slaves keeping the site running. Bishop takes d2 check. Queen takes d2. Yeah. Yeah, you could do knight f takes. You know what would be funny? Next time I play this, just for fun, I'm going to play like king takes d2. with the idea of king c1. No, knight e4 check king e3. It's like the accelerated. I know that my Moderna vaccine is hitting me pretty hard here, but that's kind of like a bomb cloud, like a queen pawn bomb cloud. Exactly. If he doesn't play knight e4 check, you can tuck the king on c1 maybe. Here you're going for it. It'd be funny to troll somebody with that. It's probably been played on lichess. Let's see. Twice. No, 8 times. There are 2 games with knight e4 check, and one player did. Olaf M. Ah. Dude, what a coward. Can you imagine? You played king takes e2 and put it back on e1. Because you're getting forked with knight takes f2. Like, but really? You play king takes e2 and then go back? Can't we play king e3? Someone played king d3, duh. Dropping knight takes f2 check? But I mean here, you gotta play king e3, go for it. Control the center. I hope everyone is just taking this in stride with me. I mean, I'm just joking around. In all likelihood, you know, I'm actually like suggesting this as a troll, but probably like this happened as a mouse slip. You know, so the guy just brought his king back to e1. Alright, seriously. Dude, what is going on here? The wind is going crazy and opening my door. What is going on? Do we have some kind of crazy storm coming? Never happens. I normally don't have my wind like blowing. The wind isn't like blowing the door open. Knight takes d2 is a little bit simpler to play, I think, for white. Here I feel like the queen gets off the track. It's like the black side of the Rossalimo where you're taking on d7 with the queen. It's a little bit out of the ordinary to have the queen here. It's much, you know, more usual to take with the knight have the queen on the white square diagonal. I feel a little uncomfortable with my queen on d2 personally. The idea is that the knight gets to go to c3. This is how I lost against Kosic. Now, you played c takes d5, but I don't like playing c takes d5. Maybe it's alright, but I feel like you're opening up his bishop on the diagonal. I guess I played e3. And I think the Kosic played queen e7. Yeah, it's like this. He beat me really bad. I mean, it was like, how did I lose really bad on the white side of a BOGO? But I think that Carlsen... Thunderstorms likely to continue through 2 a.m. Ouch. Where did that come from? Yeah, I forgot. Okay. So we got thunderstorms coming. Do you love the weather app? No. Yeah, this is the danger. Rook d8. This is how I lost with white, like something similar. Here. I just didn't know what to do. But if we go to the Masters database, I'd be kind of surprised there wasn't a Carlsen game. There's Kosic. Kosic 2007. That's about the time I lost to him. But it looks like Carlsen doesn't play this way. There's no Carlsen games. I guess he hasn't played it that much. Maybe Carlsen doesn't play Queen e7. That is the main move. Yeah, there's a couple games here. What did he play? Yeah, Magnus has played this. Okay, 3 times. But those games are more modern. They're all from 2012, 2013. I feel like Magnus had played this even before. Probably. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to play E3 and G3. So you took Yepeshin against Kosic, 2011. That's like a guaranteed draw. I mean, CD is definitely good when black plays B6. Not as good without B6. Black can also take with a knight. Funny that someone actually played Queen F4 here. Damn, that's what Yepeshin did. Holy shit. That's Queen F4 is like hardcore. I'm pretty sure that my game against Kosic was prior to this. Like 2008, 2007, something like that. I mean, I must have played E3. I didn't play CD though. That's a weird move. I mean, Queen F4, Queen E7, E3. He wanted to develop his queen outside the structure. It's really bizarre. Very strong player though. Former second of the man who used to be known as Karpov. Alright, rook E8. So the queen is like, yeah, he's threatening knight E4. So maybe you should play Queen C2 first to stop knight E4? Or knight E5 or something? You're just gonna sit here and take it? Queen C2. Alright, F5. Yeah, this is kind of typical. I don't know. It's a little weird to play F5 with a rook on E8 for me. There's a slight issue of knight takes D5. It's not a big deal, you know. Just his like entire center collapses. Nothing major. Of course, that's not really dependent on the rook being on E8. Yeah, this guy's... Man, he just fell apart. Wow. Pop Gabor. No, Pop... It's, sorry. It's our friend, not Pop Gabor. Pop G. Pop Jula. Pop Gabor is double P. So rook E8 is probably not a bad move, but it turns out that this is maybe a mistake. F5 just loses to knight takes D5. That's a problem, officer. You missed it. Yeah, White was just playing like positionally. You still have it though. Oh, now you saw it. Oh, you saw it because his bishop was on D7. Should have played it before. What does the engine think on knight D5? I'm sure that it's winning. You're one move from castling one way or the other. I don't think that black can possibly have any real compensation. Probably knight C6, guarding against threat of C7. Maybe A3. Bishop E6. Something like that. And then knight F4. With a winning position for white. Probably +2. But let's see. Oh, it doesn't do knight takes D5. Yeah. Well, it took it a while to find it. It didn't see it at first. That's funny. Yeah, you should be looking for that. Yeah, F5 is a huge blunder. It's funny that he dropped his d-pawn anyway. Yeah, the problem is if you play knight f4, I mean, black might be desperate enough to try something stupid like that. You're totally winning, though. There's also queen a5 check. Actually, that's a little concerning. Yeah, I think you should just come back here. That's the game. So what do we do now? $1 million question. Castle kingside. Castle kingside looks really safe. And objectively you should be winning. Castle queenside a lot riskier. Here you're giving up your bishop for the knight. Maybe black consider takes with the rook. Yeah, I mean, you forgot to get your permission slip. I've lost a lot of stonewall Dutches and stuff because I gave up my white square bishop for a knight, thinking, oh, well, he's got a bad bishop, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not so simple. But maybe black should have thought about taking with a rook, not to, like, jettison his pawn structure. Not to mention his like, minority attack with f4. When he does this, like, his whole position becomes more static, I think. You know, this is a much worse structure for black. Though he does have queen across and different attacking chances. He needs to consider both options here. The structure is very static now. I don't know what you should do. Clearly taking is impossible. It's a French. Castle's kingside is probably the best move. But you're going to have to play actively with like f4 or f3. You're basically playing a French with white, and you're playing, it's a typical Queen's Gambit exchange variation. You're going to play f4 or f3, and you're up a pawn. So for example, like castle, queen g5, threatening bishop h3, you have f4. Or you don't have f4 actually. Well, here you would have knight takes e4. Queen g6, f3. So he doesn't even have that. This is kind of ugly though, right? Black doesn't want to play bishop f5, block his freaking queen from dropping across the 5th rank. This is the move he wants to play, but you take the pawn, and on a queen g6, you're just like, whatever, man. My queen protects g2. The best you're going to get is getting your pawn back. But this is probably black's best line, right? I mean, objectively, castles. This is way safer than castling queenside, by the way. Castles, and you're glad his rook's not on the f-file. Queen g5, threatening bishop h3. Now you have maybe king h1, or maybe take the pawn. But if you take the pawn, queen g6, actually here, yeah, you still don't have a queen check. You might even have a queen check. Maybe this refutes it. King h8, knight, damn, here, h5. I mean, black is totally desperate. Black is really, really desperate there. Castles is good. This is awkward. f3, wow. That's fun. Takes, queen b3, check. Did you blunder? You blundered? Allowing bishop e6. This would require careful calculation. You're going to let him like chew up your king side. I wouldn't go into this without having calculated pretty deeply. It's a serious damage to the king side that you're allowing here. I like Resonant Spectre. Aren't you the guy that said he's 700? Yeah. He needs to chill out. We'll put him on timeout. Alright. Yeah, he's been too many comments. I didn't want to be like mean, but I agree. He needs to kind of chill. Our moderators are just too nice today. Our moderators are not using enough moderation. Queen takes b7, pawn takes g2. He's just like, yeah, making every possible like comment. Rook f2. Nice. This looks dicey, you know. My gut instinct is that black is in the game. You know, f3 was like kind of fancy. Do you have another way to play this? Like b4 or something? b4 would be funny. It's probably not good enough. But you're not forced to play f3 either. I mean, he's in an awkward position. His f-file play is blocked. His bishop is bad. You know, theoretically you should be playing like a minority attack here on the queen side, but the problem is he like takes it and then can drop back and defend b7. Maybe this is your line, man. You think it's fine to ask about moves, to be honest. Yeah, but he was totally, like, the whole stream slightly overdoing it. I kind of wanted to politely, like, ask him to reduce his number of comments. This is a nice line. b4, queen takes b4, rook b1, queen e7, queen b3 check. And then we take on b7. I'm not grumpy. You guys haven't seen Grumpy if you think I'm grumpy now. You haven't seen anything yet, man. I'm like Mr. Mellow tonight. King h8, queen b7. If you trade queens, you're good. You know what grumpy is. This king side looks a little cheesy to me. I think we're gonna have to like very, very urgently close my windows. It's about to start pouring here. We got thunder, wind. I didn't realize we were getting a thunderstorm tonight. I think I had seen it and forgot about it. Man, black's got active pieces. But he's 2 pawns down. It should be winning, but not easy. I guess that's game over, dude. You can't lose the exchange. So this is actually a double threat. At least a double threat. The fork here, knight f6. Black has to defend all threats, so don't know. Maybe rook e6. Looks like it's possible black had a defense. Actually, that move is reasonable, right? He's hanging on at about -2, -1.6. Yeah, not a guaranteed win for white. This loses the exchange. That's pretty much game over. Or not. Oops. That's a problem. Oh, you can take on c8 and you have mate. You don't have mate on the back rank. Oh my god. Oh my god. So the problem is this, and this. Oh, then you have rook g8. It's brilliant. Oh my god. That's a brilliant line. I finally found it. Rook e6, you take here. Yeah, that's sweet, man. That's game over. He's done. What can black play? You played that instead, attacking the queen. Alright, this is also fine. Yeah, everything wins. Not everything wins, actually. That was a mistake. Oh, you have rook h8. Never mind. Alright, very nice. Very nice. Rook h8, final move. Alright, guys, so I got a thunderstorm coming in, and that's it for tonight. I'm going to get some rest with my COVID vaccine. Be back tomorrow morning with rapid chess for you long rapid chess fans. Thanks everybody for supporting the stream, for the donations tonight. We've got a couple. HTFP with a few bits. We had donations from Move 11 and Zen Chess. Appreciate it, guys. We'll be back on Friday, 11 a.m. CEST, Rapid Chess, and I'll be over my code vaccine. I'll see you guys then. Thanks, Mr. Coffee. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the stream. Bye-bye.